Good morning. My name is Dadisi Najib, and I'm the hearing officer for San Francisco Public Works. And Mr. Rodas is our clerk this morning for this hearing. I appreciate everyone who's present. I appreciate your time. And we're going to get through this hearing today expeditiously. So thank you so much. Um, this hearing today is being recorded via Zoom and will be available afterward through a link on the San Francisco Public Works website, sfpublicworks.org. This is a virtual hearing, and there's no sign-in sheet. If you'd like to receive information about the results of this hearing, please email us at the email address listed on the hearing notice. This public hearing today is being held to consider three items. Order number 212591, order number 212608, and hearing order 212633. Additionally, we will have Public Works comments. Members of the public may address myself on matters that are within the department's jurisdiction, but not on today's agenda. Okay. So my job as the hearing officer is to gather the information, listen to the facts for the hearing items, gather your testimonies, and help our Director of Public Works make determinations. I will not be making any decisions today. Instead, I will forward the findings from this hearing and make my recommendations to the director. And the director will make the final decisions based on my recommendations. Once the director's determinations are made, the department will notify you of them if you have provided your contact information. So the hearing will proceed as follows for the following three cases. We'll do the public comment first, and then if no one has responded or has comments on matters that are within the department's jurisdiction, but not on today's agenda, then we'll move on. So first I'll ask Public Works to speak and present their case. There's no time limit for this presentation. Then I will allow the property owner, appellant, or applicant to speak. Then any members of the public or witness who wants to speak. Each speaker will have up to 3 minutes. The clerk will monitor the time for all speakers and will indicate when the speaker has 30 seconds left. If you are a party to this proceeding, I will call on you to speak. If you would like to use visual materials in your presentation, please let me know before you speak. Then you will have the standard 3 minutes to provide your comments. If you are a member of the public or witness who wants to speak, wait for me to call the public comments. Then use Zoom's raise your hand feature if you're on a computer to put yourself in the queue to speak. And if you're dialing in on your phone, dial *9 to indicate you're raising your hand when it is your turn to speak. Then you'll have the standard 3 minutes to provide your comments. Comments and questions should be addressed to me and not to the department or the applicant. If you cannot finish your comments within the allotted time, you may submit written testimony to me by the end of this hearing. And if I feel that a question is warranted, I will ask the question. After all comments are completed, I will close the item. We will now begin the hearing. At this time, we will open the hearing to public comments. Members of the public may make comments on matters that are within the department's jurisdiction, but not on today's agenda. Are there any public comments at this time? Okay, if there are no public comments, at this time, I will close this item. The first item on today's agenda is order number 212591 to consider notice of violation number 011-626-055-022. The violation is for improper housekeeping at 1401 Folsom Street.
Hello, good morning. I'm badge number 055. So let's talk about some history report on this findings. On January 16, 2026, an inspector responded to a complaint regarding improper housekeeping at 1401 Folsom Street. Upon arrival, the inspector found extensive graffiti covering the entire length of the fence. As a result, the inspector issued a correction notice number 011626-055-002 to the contractor In Charge Energy Incorporated for improper housekeeping, allowing 72 hours for the graffiti to be removed. The inspector also located the contractor's information in the DBI portal, confirmed the phone number through an online search, and left a detailed message with the operator informing them of the issues and the notice posted. On Thursday, January 22nd, 2026, the inspector conducted a follow-up inspection and found the issue remained. Consequently, the inspector issued the notice of violation number 011626-055-002 for improper housekeeping with a fine of $1,000 per day. On January 26th, the inspector closed the notice and assessed a fine of $1,000 per incident rather than per day. This is the letter of appeal. This is the notice of violation that was first issued. These are the photos from the first inspection on January 16th, 2026. These are the follow-up inspection photos from January 22nd, 2026. Another inspection, January 26th, 2026, showing that the graffiti was removed. This is the DBI permit that the inspector found in the DBI system to find the contractor, In Charge Energy Incorporated. And this was the invoice sent out from the administrative staff. That concludes my comment.
Thank you, Inspector 055. We appreciate your presentation. Is the applicant or appellant here? I guess in this case would be the appellant.
Could you please raise your hand if you're here for this order so we can allow you to speak?
Is there any member of the public or witness who wants to speak on this? Okay, well, we've heard are there no hands raised?
There are
Nathan?
none. Could you remind them if they're using a phone what to
Absolutely. If you are using a phone, you can dial *9 to indicate you're raising your hand when it's your turn to speak, and I'll recognize you.
just want to make sure we're not missing them?
If you're a party to the proceeding as well. Okay, well, it looks like there's no one. We have the appeal letter, so I'll make sure to review that before I make my comments. So we are closing out our second item, order number 212519, as it pertains to violation of improper housekeeping at 1401 Folsom Street. Next up is hearing order number 212608 to consider notice of violation. Violation is for permits not on site at 88 Mill Street. Public Works, will you make your presentation? Are they muted? Not hearing anything. Is anyone speaking? I'm not hearing anything.
We're working on getting his
Oh, okay, no
microphone
worries. Okay, thank
unmuted.
you. Okay, thank you. Take your time.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? There we go.
Yeah,
I had
loud
to
and
move to
clear.
another
Thank
desk.
you.
Sorry about that.
No worries. We've all been having trouble this morning, so appreciate you. Thank you. Ready when
Okay.
you are.
All right. Well, good morning. My name's with Code Enforcement Badge 002. History report. On Wednesday, October 15th, 2025, an inspector responded to a complaint regarding a cement mixer that had been in the street for over 6 months, obstructing street cleaning. Upon arrival, the inspector found a cement mixer in the parking strip adjacent to 88 Mill Street. Because of the equipment was mobile and not related to utilities work, the matter was initially referred to SFMTA. On Thursday, November 6th, 2025, 311 notified our office that SFMTA does not handle parking enforcement for construction equipment without license plate. On Wednesday and Thursday, November 12th and 13th of 2025, discussions were held among 311, SFMTA, BSM, BSES, and POL regarding how to address abandoned equipment without license plate, occupying street space without a permit, and with unknown ownership. Scroll down. Let's see, on Friday, November 14th, 2025, inspectors conducted a follow-up inspection and met with the property owner of 88 Mill Street. The property owner confirmed that the cement mixer belonged to him. He stated he was unable to move it due to recent surgery, but will arrange assistance over the weekend of November 15th and 16th to store it in his garage. The inspector provided a compliance deadline and advised that failure to comply would result in citations and possible fine. On Thursday, November 20th, 2025, inspector conducted a third follow-up inspection and found that the cement mixer was moved across the street and issue remained. Consequently, the inspector issued a notice of violation number 112125-002-001 to the property owner for placing cement mixer in the public right of way without the street space permit and a fine of $1,000 per incident. On Friday, November 21st, the inspector processed, and mailed the notice of violation. Here's a shot of the appeal letter to John Del Bianco, and then the notice of violation that was posted. And here are pictures from October 15th, where we initially found the cement mixer. And then again on the 14th, still remained at the same place. And well, November 20th, cement mixer was placed across the street. And here is a picture of the notice of violation being posted at 88 Mill Street. Here is a photo from December 2nd, 2025. And here are the locations of where the cement mixer was on October 15th and then November 20th. And the invoice to 88 Mill.
What was the date on the invoice?
The date
Mm,
11/21/2025.
Okay, thank you. And the mixer was on site. I'm sorry, were you finished with your presentation?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and the mixer was on site for 6 months?
So it was reported for over 6 months
Mm-hmm,
through 311.
mm-hmm.
So that's when we went to go out and do our inspection.
Okay, and the amount of time between when we made contact with the appellant, the person responsible, and the time that it was removed was how long?
So we contacted him. It was, I want to say about
21st.
yeah. So we found it in October, late October, and then
Okay, I
so
see.
more than a week.
Okay. All right, got it. Thank you. Does that conclude your presentation?
Yes.
All right, excellent. Thank you. Is the appellant here on the call? Anyone have their hand raised?
Hello? Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we are the owners of 88 Mill Street.
What's your name?
He's here to state his case.
Okay.
So when they came out and asked me to move,
Can you identify yourself, please?
I'm John Del Bianco, the owner of
Okay.
the mixer and the owner of the 88 Mill Street.
Okay, thank you.
And I guess someone made a complaint, but the mixer is not bothering anybody. It's not in anybody's driveway. Anyway, when they asked me to move it, and I was going to move it in garage, but I couldn't move it because I just had knee operation. And so I moved it across the street as soon as I could until my son and someone could help me. And I got it moved. It's in my garage, and it was no big deal. I don't understand why they send me a bill for $1,000, and it wasn't bothering nobody. I mean, so I moved it in the garage, and that was that. I didn't know that it was such a big ordeal for this mixer. It's been in the neighborhood for 30 years. I mean, I use it for work, and nobody's ever said anything. I mean, it's 50-year-old mixer, and so that's why we're appealing this. I moved it. It's off the street, and I'm sorry, I didn't know. And now I got my other knee done, so it's still inside the garage. So that's my case. It
Okay.
didn't hurt anybody. I didn't kill anybody.
Mr. Del Bianco, do you use it regularly and like move it back and forth, or you just were using it to
No,
store it on the
we're
street?
getting rid of the mixer. I'm retired now. We have to get rid of it. I mean, I have a few concrete patches to do in front of the house, and I was going to do it for that, but I have to heal. It'll be a year before I heal up.
Right, I understand that, but and I understand that you use the mixer for your work, but
Yeah, we're out of work. I'm retired. I'm 67 years old now, and I can't do that kind of work anymore.
okay, so now it's in your garage,
Yes.
but you were storing it on the street, correct?
Yes, I was. Yes.
Okay, and you didn't know that you weren't allowed to do that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. It's 60 years. 60 years that it's been in the city here.
Okay.
I mean, we put it on job sites and leave it there for a week or so. When we were working, but nobody's ever, even on the job sites, nobody's ever said anything.
Okay. And so you didn't know that you needed a permit
No,
to occupy the parking space on the
no,
city street?
neither a license plate. I never knew you needed a license plate for a mixer. I've been towing it all over the city. I never got pulled over or anything for for not having a license plate.
Okay. Well, you were lucky. So thank you. Does that conclude your presentation? Does that conclude your comments? I think
Yes,
you
it
still have
does.
a few minutes left.
Yeah,
Okay, Mr. Del Bianco, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
yeah, I just want you to
Um,
know I'm retired and I'm on a fixed income and that's a lot of money. I mean, a street cleaning ticket's only $80 or something like that. You know.
okay, and when we made contact with you and explained, they gave you a grace period, I think it was 72 hours to get it off the street. Was there any particular reason why you weren't able to
Well,
comply with that
I
request? Because
I
she
thought they
told you.
I thought they meant to move it off the street. So I moved it to the other side because that's all I can do. I could just roll it across the street. I couldn't. I
So
couldn't
you
put
didn't
it.
understand the instructions?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't. I wanted to put it in the garage, but I couldn't because of the hill. There's a hill there, and you can't push it up by yourself. You need two people, three people to push that thing up the driveway. So I did what I could, for the street cleaner to go by and clean the street.
Yeah, that's not what it was for, but okay.
Yeah, but we don't want to leave it in the street for the street cleaner. I always moved it for the street cleaner.
Okay.
So that's
But
all.
she was clear that you'd be fined if it wasn't removed, correct?
Uh, not sure about that. No, but I told her I was going to move it. I told the lady
Remove it, not move it, just remove it.
yeah, remove it. But
Remove it means it can't be on the street.
right. I told her I would move it, and I
Okay.
would remove it, but like I said, I couldn't do it with my legs.
Okay.
I did it as soon as possible, and that was within a week.
Okay. And to be clear, when you moved it across the street, they came back and told
Yes,
you
yes,
a third time.
got it out of there right away.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Del Bianco. Well, if that's all, thank you for your
Okay, thank you.
testimony.
Yes, and you'll let us know.
Yes, the director, the department will let you know when the
Okay,
directors make their decision.
alrighty.
All right. Thank you.
That's it then.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak on this matter? Anyone associated with it or a member of the public or family member? Anyone have their hand raised?
No one.
Okey-dokey. Well, if no one else has a comment to make, we'll be closing out order number 212608. Next up, oh, 2608, yes. Next up, we have hearing order number 212633 to consider notice of violation. The violation is for unpermitted vending, no permit displayed at Mission Street and 8th Street. Public Works, you're ready to make your presentation?
Good morning. Yes, thank you. Badge number 008. Per Article 5.9, if you need to have a permit when you're operating as a vendor in the public right of way. So if you look at section B, it says a vendor shall prominently display a valid vendor permit that corresponds with the vendor's business activity while vending in accordance with this Article 5.9. And if you scroll down to the next highlighted, it says prohibited vending as defined in Public Works Code, Article 5.9. As follows: is within 15 feet of all transit shelters and within 15 feet of all transit stops between the hours of 5 a.m. and 12 a.m. Sunday through Saturday. We have a flyer that gets handed out, not necessarily to everybody, but it's a reference. You cannot vend within 7 feet of a fire hydrant, within 8 feet of an ADA ramp, or you need to be 15 feet from bus zones or blue zones, and vendors should display their business registration and vendor permit while maintaining a 6-foot path of travel. So if you look where the star is, it shows that you should be 2 feet from the curb, 15 feet from a bus zone, allowing the 6-foot minimum path of travel while being 7 feet from the fire hydrant. And the ADA ramps are not in this photo, but so if you go to the next slide, we have a little history. When our permittee for permit 25 VDR 00039 operator is Wayne Daphine. I'm sorry if I pronounced the name incorrectly. He's received 3 notices of violations totaling $850 for unpermitted vending and or operating in prohibited areas, including a bus zone, an ADA access ramp, and near a fire hydrant. The violations were issued on 11/6 of 2025, February 25th, 2026, and March 2nd of 2026. And throughout multiple contacts, both during the period while his permit was active and after it expired, Mr. Daphine repeatedly failed to comply with permit requirements. He was consistently reminded that he is authorized to vend only at his approved location at 8th Street in Mission, next to the PG&E building, 8th Street side. This is what it says on his permit. But he continued setting up in unauthorized areas and refused to acknowledge advisements or sign notices of violation. He was advised to renew or apply for a permit, but has not done so. He has also demonstrated confrontational behavior during enforcement interactions, including threatening legal action against CCSF, refusing to provide his permit for inspection, requesting inspectors' personal information, and leaving only after extended disputes, often returning later to resume unpermitted vending. All interactions and notes and photographs have been documented in the permit for record. So here is kind of a timeline. 8/25. Not everything's listed here. Some have just been verbal warnings. On 8/25 at 10 in the morning, the violations were failure to display a permit, operating in a designated bus zone, and operating outside the approved public works location. Same violations were on September 2nd at 1:05 when the inspection was done. On September 16th, we have the same violations again at 1:02. And then on November 6th, we issued a notice of violation for $100. The permit was still valid, and the violations were failure to display a permit, operating a bus zone, operating outside the approved public works location, and too close to an ADA ramp and fire hydrant. So same violations, but adding the obstruction of the ADA ramp and fire hydrant. February 6th, permit is now expired as it expired on November 15th, 2025. Same previous violations, no permit displayed in a bus zone and outside of any approved public works locations. February 25th, a notice of violation was issued for $250. And again, now the permit is expired. Same violations as before. March 2nd, a $500 violation has been issued for failure to display a permit, operating in a designated bus zone, and operating outside the approved public works location. March 9th, same conditions exist. He's in the same location. Permit is still expired. March 10th, same issue. March 12th, same issue. March 16th, same issue. During and in between these inspections, I would contact the permits department to see if anybody has applied, if he's applied for a new permit, and they said that was not, or that he did not. The permit start date was from May 28th, 2025 and expired 11/15/2025. This is the permit that Wayne has in his possession. It was sent to him in an email by our permits department. This is an appeal letter that was sent in by Mr. Daphine stating that he's having problems with me, alleges that I'm targeting and harassing him for months, extorting him for money, thinks I'm confused with the Lifeline program, and it goes on. Here are some copies or some photos of the vendor setups during all the inspections. So as you see in the first one, he's in an active bus zone. Same thing on September 2nd. This is after we got him to pack up his items to move. And in this time, he still has a permit. It's just around the corner where he was able to operate, but chose not to. Same thing with September 16th. We have more photos of him there, set up with his tent. And if you refer to the diagram that I showed earlier, he's supposed to be 2 feet off the curb. So he's also up against the building, impeding the flow of pedestrian travel. This is the first violation that was given for no permit displayed and being in a non-compliant display for operating in a bus zone. Next, we show him within the 8 feet of the ADA ramp, and same thing in close proximity of the fire hydrant. So his permit was just, he's about 5 or 10 feet of where he would be permitted to be, but chose to set up in a different location. Here's the invoice that was sent to him for the $100 violation for the first one. Next, we'll have more photos showing that he's in a bus zone. And a lot of the times people vending in these areas attract other people that also block the public right of way. Here is the next notice of violation on February 25th, 2026. Same reasons, but now he does not have a permit, so the fee scale has increased to $250 for the first violation. Here are photos of him set up in the same location. Invoice for the second violation has been sent out. And the third violation, third violation for $500 for the same exact reasons for being in the same location. So then we have more photos. We stopped giving him violations, which the next one would be 1,000 for each instance after the third one we received. Here's the invoice for that third one. Excuse me. And again, just more photos of him continuing to set up in the unpermitted bus zone. And just more dates of the same. And I think that's the last slide. So at this point, to get his permit in good standing, the notices of violations would have to be paid, and then to apply for a new permit and stay in a permitted zone, which has been approved by the city with our guidelines of no bus zones, no fire hydrants, not being by ADA ramps, and not impeding the path of travel on the public sidewalk. So that's pretty much for us, or all we have for that.
Thank you. I have a few questions just to be clear.
Good.
Has Mr. Dolphine ever paid any invoices?
No,
Not one.
no,
Okay.
they're all
And
outstanding.
they're all outstanding. Okay. And he's been operating without a permit this year, 2026, no permits.
Yes, I even saw it. I didn't get a photo, but I even saw him out there yesterday. So since November 15th of 2025, he's not obtained a
When
permit.
it expired. Mhm.
Correct. Yep.
So for 5 months.
Correct.
No, more than 5 months.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And go ahead.
Oh, and I was gonna say, and we tried. I think the the first violation for not having a permit was in February. So I had known his permit was expired and he was still out there, but I was still trying to give him time to
Great.
pay the first violation and get his permit and just operate in the area, because we want people to be permitted and in their area. It makes our jobs a lot easier. We understand they're out there trying to make money. We understand he's providing a service, and so as long as he's in his location, then we're fine with it.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate your presentation.
Thank you.
Is Mr. Delphine on the call today? Was the appellate here? I don't see anything.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You have 3
I
minutes.
just had I had a couple questions before we actually start the clock. I wanted to ask, are you
Mr. Delphine, you
Yeah.
have 3 minutes.
you gave him 10 minutes, miss, so I would like to have 10 minutes as well, to
Mr.
be
Delphine,
fair. So can I-
Mr.
Yes.
Delphine, the rules are Public Works can take as long as they need for their presentation. You have 3 minutes to make your presentation. If you have any questions, the question should be addressed to me. And I also have your appeal and all of that other information documents here. So if there's anything that you want to add, you can send them to us. I don't know if you heard the rundown of the rules or read the rules before the meeting got started. So the rules are you have 3 minutes. And once you start speaking, you'll be allowed to speak for 3 minutes. And then when there's 30 seconds left, you'll be given a little alert that you have. But there are only 3 minutes, okay? So just take
okay,
your
so
time.
I want to object to this hearing because it's already seemed to be a violation of my due process, and also this is not an Article 3 court. So let me ask you, are you an employee for DPW?
Yes.
Okay, so that's also a conflict of interest. So I would ask that you would dismiss the hearing and the fines, because I have the right to a fair hearing. I also wanted to stipulate that I sent an email. The ticket was sent to me, the original one, back in November, and I told them I wanted to abate the ticket, the DPW. They never responded, and they kept piling subsequent tickets on me without dealing with the first ticket. And I've had issues with John. I've sent multiple public record requests to get the information that I was supposed to get to prepare for the hearing. And several times, David Steinberg, the executive to the director, has denied my public record request. So once again, this is a violation of due process. I've also tried to settle the matter by asking them for a W-9 because they're asking me for all these fees. And they sent me some robo-signed notice of violation stating that I owe money. And from my understanding, that when something is above $600, it's become a taxable event with the IRS. So I've done my part to settle the matter. SFDPW and their staff has refused to give me the documents I need to settle the matter. I even asked them to show me in their codes how to write off a bad debt. They're not being transparent. They won't tell me who they are. They're not showing any valid oaths of office. They're saying all these permit violations. I'm here to just settle the matter. As far as with vending, I have no idea that I'm vending. You know, vending is like vending machine, and they're making assumptions I'm vending. And I gave them an affidavit under sworn perjury. They have failed to rebut that. Carlos Short, the director, John, and any of the staff. So that would be what you call an equitable estoppel or assent or tacit assent by silence. And, you know, I pride being from San Francisco, but I'm just throwing off that you have someone like John that's extorting people for money and not telling their name or oath of office or any kind of paperwork saying he has a delegation from the SFDPW director. And, you know, I've tried to settle this matter. They could charge me, but they gave me a robo-sign thing. They're not verifying or validating the debt where you would do a validation debt letter. They're doing all the things. They're not being transparent. I understood that there was a lot of issues with extortion and money laundering with your former director, Mohammed Nuru, and I've been very patient in trying to deal
Excuse
with
me,
this,
sir.
but they're not.
Your 3 minutes is up, so please wrap it up. Thank you.
But I never. Oh, so this is the 30 seconds. I was just gonna say
Yes.
that this is a violation of due process because he was able to talk all fluidly, and then I'm reduced to 3 minutes. So this is already some kind of colorable hearing. But I'll just say I'm just here to settle the matter, and I haven't been able to get the documents. I've had to notify the Sunshine Task Force because SFDPW is not giving me the records that I need to settle the matter. And I'm
Okay.
gonna
Is that
possibly
your
have to talk
presentation?
with the controller. I mean, I can't. You gave him 10 minutes. I can't finish. I was unable to finish.
Okay. Okay. Your 3 minutes is up. I have a couple of questions. Are you able to answer them? I have a couple of questions.
I mean, to the best of my recollection, you know, I mean, I might need to do it
Okay.
by paperwork. I could hear what you're saying.
Okay. Is there, why haven't you gotten a permit this year? You understand that there are rules, right? To operate a business in the public right of way. You understand that there are rules, correct?
I was coerced to get the permit, and then I realized I'm not vending, so I don't need a permit. So that's the issue, is that I had the permit originally, and the
What's
whole
the nature
thing went to.
What is the nature of your business?
It's
It-
not a
it-
business. It's a lifeline program. It's a free program that gets phones out. It's not vending. So I asked the DPW to do a sworn affidavit to prove that I'm vending, and they refused. So Lifeline is a government program.
Okay, but you're setting up a tent on the sidewalk, and they've allowed you to have a space there, but there are rules to where you can set up. You understand that, correct?
No, I don't. No, I don't understand that, Miss, because
You don't.
this whole issue was to renew the permit, and then they started piling these fees on me, and then when I realized,
Mr. Dolphin, the issue is not that they are piling on the fees. The issue is that you had a permit and there was very specific parameters for which you were supposed to set your tent up, whether you were selling or not. And you've been outside of those parameters. Why? Why can't you set up where they've instructed you to set up? Why? What's so hard about that?
I thought I was on the corner right there, but
okay, but when they tell you, when they come and tell you that you're not, when they come and inform you that you're outside of where you're supposed to be, how are you responding? And why do they have to keep coming back and telling you where to be?
I told them the situation. Listen.
You don't listen. You don't tell them anything.
I told them the situation.
What's
what do you
the
mean
situation?
I don't tell them? They're public servants and civil servants.
Sir.
I don't work for them. They work for the public. I don't work for you guys. You guys work for the public. You guys are acting as if I'm a slave or something.
Mr. Dolphin, I'm I'm okay. Thank you for your comments. I will make a recommendation to Director Short on behalf of the department and what the information we've gathered here today. Um, that's it for us today. That's it for my questions. I appreciate your time. Are there any members of the public that wish to speak on this matter?
We have one person's has their hand
Okay.
raised.
Okay.
Hello?
Raise your hand.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello, please identify yourself.
Hi, my name is Jessica and Wayne works with our company. So I wanted to maybe hopefully put in a few words.
Jessica, what's your last name?
Hayner, Haner.
And the company name?
SafeLink.
Okay. Okay, Jessica, you have 3 minutes.
Okay. Wayne's been working with us for quite a while and he had a permit. And after his permit was done, he couldn't stop working while waiting to renew the permit. He had tried to renew it in November, but they wouldn't let him because he had gotten a ticket or something like that, wanted him to pay the fine, and he had some issues with that. But his sorry. His whole purpose though is he wanted to get a renew his permit. So how can we resolve this matter where he get a new permit for somewhere else in the meantime while he tries to renew this permit? Or can he pay for his permit and they can set him up for a payment plan for his other tickets? I just want to get this resolved for him so he has a permit somewhere.
So
The
he's your
ultimate goal is to
employee.
get a permit.
He's your employee.
No, he's an independent contractor and he contracts with our company.
Okay, so he's working,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes. So we
Go
just
ahead, Jessica. I didn't mean to interrupt.
we just want to get to the result. We just want to resolve this matter and see what we can do. If we can get him on a payment plan for those other tickets or something. And sometimes it has taken us 2 months to either renew our permit or get a permit. And that is the problem with Wayne. He had tried to renew it and it was waiting and it was a lengthy process. When you're emailing back and forth with DPW, it takes a long time. Sometimes
Jessica,
yeah.
Respectfully, the problem with Wayne is that he was given a place to set up, and he is repeatedly on numerous occasions set up outside of where he's supposed to set up.
I understand.
That's the problem. That's the problem. That is the problem.
Maybe we can talk with Wayne and explain to him the rules on where he is allowed to set up. I maybe when he got the permit, he didn't quite understand the rules and where he needs to set up. And maybe we can especially with the bus stop and the ADA ramp and all that, maybe we can have a discussion with him and talk with him about that. And
Jessica, were you on the call when Public Works gave their presentation?
I was.
I don't know if were you able to see the visual?
I see the visuals of it all. I understand.
Did you see how many interactions there were? Where people explained to him, pleaded with him. And if he was confrontational with me over the phone, I can only imagine how confrontational he's been in the field.
He's not. He's always been very respectful, polite. I've never seen anything quite confrontational from Wayne. He just doesn't agree so much sometimes with getting tickets and fines and have anything to do with money. I get that part of Wayne, but I also understand DPW and the city's rules and all that. So I mean, maybe moving forward though, we can work together to talk with Wayne and maybe make it not so confrontational.
So is the permit under your company or
no, it's
an independent contractor?
It's under Wayne's. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your presentation.
No, you're good. I think this should be more of like a discussion, like together, anyways, because Wayne is a good guy and he needs a permit, and he also needs to know the right way to set up and where to set up with his permit too. So I understand that as well, and maybe we can just like talk with him a bit about that.
Can't really set him up.
And the first ticket set him off,
That's
and
what did it.
that's what did it. And I feel bad for Wayne, but I also feel bad for
He got it.
the whole situation. Yeah, he was just trying to renew his permit. He got a ticket in the process, and it really kind of ticked him off.
That's
So,
been holding him up.
and it's been holding him up.
Okay, are you finished with your comments?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Jessica. I have a quick question for our inspector. The next, if in order to clear this up, so to be clear, he cannot get another permit until the back penalties are resolved, or the back fines are resolved. Is that correct?
That's my understanding. So
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I understood that.
he can talk to our permit manager and see if there's something he can work out as far as a payment plan. Like I said, but that's just, yeah, it's just my understanding that if he pays the fine, then he's eligible to apply for a new permit or renew the permit or apply for a new one. Anything else would have to be discussed with the permit manager.
Okay. And then how long does the new permitting process take?
It really
Like potentially, like let's just say he resolved it this tomorrow. Could he then apply and then have a new permit? And how long typically does the permitting process take?
it really just depends on how many people are in the queue ahead of him. Right
And
now,
just general.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
is
so
it a
that's
week?
what-
Is it 2 weeks? Is it?
it could be anything from same day to a couple weeks. Since
Okay.
he's had a permit before, he should have all the documents necessary for it. So it really should just be pay the fine, renew the permit, and as long as the location's approved and we have our staff in here, it could be done within a couple of days.
Okay.
All
I
the-
think Ms. Hannah, someone's phone isn't muted, but okay. Okay, thank you. Did
know,
you have
there-
anything else?
Oh, I was gonna say, and there could even try and bump this up in the queue, but like you say, if no one's applied ahead of him, then he'd be resolved relatively quickly.
Okay. Thank you, Inspector. I appreciate you answering my question.
Of course.
Are there any other members of the public who wish to make comments on this issue concerning Mission Street and 8th?
I don't see any more hands.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Rodas. And okay, well, if that is it, and there are no other members of the public who wish to make comments for this item, I will now close this item and make my recommendations to our director. If there are any public comments on any items on the agenda, that means if one of the agenda items from earlier and you arrived late, you can make a comment. You can speak now and you'll have the 3 minutes. But if you've spoken already, you'll not be allowed to speak again. Once again, this is for those who may have come late or who didn't have a chance to speak on an earlier item. If there are no more public comments, I am closing this hearing. The hearing is now closed. Thank you all for your time and participation this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, the DC. I believe
Hi.
we have two
Oh.
more orders.
Uh-oh. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize. I see them now here. My screen cut them off. Okay, we are not closing this hearing. Hearing Officer Najib here. We have 2 more items. The next one is for the surface mounted facility site, hearing order number 212647. This is at the location of 36 Ave and Pacheco Street. Hearing order number 212647 and Public Works. If you're available to make your presentation, if you're ready, just go ahead and get started. My
Yes,
apologies.
I'll be sharing the screen. So good morning. My name is Emily Kim, representing SF Public Works Permits. Surface mounted facilities are utility facilities which are installed directly in public sidewalk above the surface of a street. Public Works issues surface mounted facility permits under Public Works Code Article 27 and Public Works Order 206293. The Public Works Permits Division has scheduled this hearing for PG&E Surface Mounted Facility Application 22 SMF-00025 at 3123 Pacheco Street to determine whether Public Works should approve PG&E's waiver of the pre-application approval process and PG&E's proposed location for its surface mounted facility. As authorized under Public Works Code Article 27, Section 2703, PG&E submitted a request to waive the Article 27 community meeting requirement by demonstrating that physical and technical constraints limit its placement of the SMF to the single location at 3123 Pacheco Street. Public Works tentatively approved this waiver and referred it to the Planning Department, who determined that this SMF will not unreasonably affect the aesthetic character of the streetscape, adversely affect pedestrian circulation, or adversely affect a historical resource. Therefore, Public Works permits allowed PG&E to mail and post a notice of its intent to obtain an SMF permit. Oh, whoops. Per PG&E's signed affidavits, the notice was sent to persons owning or occupying property within 300 feet along either side of the proposed location, mailed to neighborhood associations within 300 feet, and posted in conspicuous places within 300 feet of either side of the proposed location. Public Works received one protest to PG&E's proposal, and I'll be here if you have any questions. Thank you. That's the end of my presentation.
Hello, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Emily. Is the applicant here on the call?
Stephen Dupree, project manager with PG&E.
Hello, Mr. Dupree. Thank you.
If I can add anything, I just want to say thank you, Emily, for that presentation. One of our key elements of PG&E's commitment to safety is to enhance our ability to monitor our natural gas going through our pipelines with technology called supervisory control and data acquisition, or SCADA. Within the SMF, it houses the SCADA. So we appreciate your consideration and the approval of this SMF permit. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Dupree. Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Were you finished with your presentation, or?
Yes, I'm finished with my presentation. I don't really have a presentation.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just wanted to be here to answer any questions
Okay,
and
thank you.
thank the team for their consideration through this lengthy process.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you for yours as well. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Are there any members of the public here who wish to comment on this item?
Don't see any hands raised.
Okay. That being said, I'll go ahead and close out this item number 212647 for the surface mounted facilities site. Next up and lastly, it looks like hearing order number 212627. This is to consider a request from BKF Engineering, agent for San Francisco State University, for a major street encroachment permit to allow the installation of new private utilities, fire service, domestic water, telecommunication conduits across Holloway Avenue from San Francisco State University to 2 Varela Avenue, and privately operated student housing. Specifically, the permit provides for the detailed design under street improvements permit. We ready?
So before you go on vacation, I was part of the line. I've been taking a lot of notes all over the booklet.
Is Public Works ready to make their presentation?
Are you printing the new one for me? Yeah. Are you? I'm not here. More projects, more projects. Thank you.
I don't see anyone here.
Hmm.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Hi, I'm with Bill Group Construction. My name is Liam Varela. I am we represent the contractor that worked on this site. I don't know where DPW is. I was expecting John Kwong to be here this morning, and I attempted a call to his office earlier today. I just wanted to present myself before moving on, in case you had any questions for me or what the next process is if John Kwong does not appear. So thank you.
Does anyone mind if we allow Mr. Varela to make his comments in the absence of John Kwong this morning, or Public Works representative to go first, and if John joins us later?
Yeah, I don't have any problem with it. I mean, he's here.
Okay.
I don't really have a presentation or many comments, but I think that this permit is not contested by anyone. I just, I guess, formally request it to be moved through or to adjust the hearing for another hearing date if necessary. But yeah, whatever you see fit. So thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Varela. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you.
I will check in with John Kwong sometime today, and definitely before I make my comments to Director Short. So thank you once again.
Thank you.
Okay,
Lisa, we
everyone.
have someone has their hand raised.
Okay.
I have allowed them to speak. They just need to unmute themselves. Hannah Lawson.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Hannah Lawson. I'm the property manager at 2 Varela. So I was just hoping I could get some context on what this permit has to do with. I'm just wondering if it actually has to do with the student housing component or if it has to do with the retail component.
Well, in the absence of our, I think John's a project manager. Mr. Varela, are you able to comment?
Yeah, so all I can comment to is the work that we performed, me being Bill Group, we being Bill Group performed at the site. This permit is in regards to to Varela Avenue, which is my understanding, the retail component,
Okay.
and does not really concern the student housing, as I understand. If I can follow up later with more concrete information, if you wish, but that's my
And
understanding.
thank you so much, Mr. Varela. I will be happy to have John send you more information. Miss, I'm sorry, I don't see your name on here again now.
Lawson.
Lawson, thank you, Miss Lawson. I'll be happy to have it. And your question again was it answered though just now by Mr. Varela, or do you want more detail?
I think it was answered. I think I just like it confirmed just because to Varela, the address includes multiple kind of
Okay.
businesses.
Okay, well, we'll be happy to verify that for you. I think, he commented, but if John might have more details to share with you, Mr. Kwong.
I'm
Yeah,
also
I
happy
think-
to get more information from
Okay.
my side and send it to you, Hannah, if you would like.
Okay, great. That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else? Miss Hannah, did that conclude your questions? Was that it?
Yes, I'm finished. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Is there anyone else on the call that wishes to speak to address this issue?
I don't believe so. Everyone
Okay.
that's in attendance has spoken, and
Okay.
no one's raising their hand.
Okie dokie. Well, that being said, we are going to close out order number 212647. I'm sorry, 212627. And before we close out, is there anyone on the call that wishes to address an item that earlier that you've not had a chance to speak and perhaps you arrived late? And if the answer is no, this is Hearing Officer Najib, Public Works, closing out our items today, March 25th, 2026. Thank you all for your time and participation. We really appreciate it. And thank you so much to our clerk, Nathan. Couldn't do this without you. And to all of our presenters, I appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.